Hey everyone, I'm back in Central Washington, North Bend this time because we have finally have some winter snow here, and I want to add some photographs to my photography skills. And I thought I'd use this opportunity to talk about some of the games that one has to play on Craigslist. So another thing I like to do on Craigslist is obviously tutoring. I recently I recently had a fun time negotiating with one of my clients that I now have acquired. What had happened was that he had put up a very vague ad. He was working on a certain subject, and he said, "Email me with your price." That's a tough one. You don't know how in depth they are. You don't know the location. You don't know the scheduling. He wants you to give the number first. And I emailed him and tried to find out the details, obviously. And what was really funny was that I told him that, let's meet up to discuss more of the details. And he suggested that we meet at a Starbucks um, at 7:30. But when I Googled the Starbucks, they close at 7. And from my experience, I know that is not going to turn well. So I go on to do the other things I want to do that day, and I said, I think that Starbucks closes at 7. And I said, well, why don't we schedule another time? Looks like this is not going to turn out. I don't even argue with him. In the past, I would have said, well, do you want to meet there? Do you want to meet there? And now I'm stuck in the downtown Bellevue area chasing him. No. If something doesn't jive, I leave the area and go home or go do whatever I need to do and tell him, sorry, the Starbucks closes at 7. Sorry it didn't turn out today. Let me know when you're available next. And I leave it at that, and I close the books for that day. In the past, things like that never turned out well. I ended up chasing people throughout the night. Not good. Okay, so a couple days later, he starts ghosting me, which is really annoying because I have a couple days off today and tomorrow, and what's really frustrating is when people ghost like that, is that I don't know if I can do anything if I can leave town, right? I love to come out to Central Washington to take photographs of the weather patterns and of the astronomy. And when people ghost me like that, and I'm not sure if I could leave, that used to cause me a rift. What I did was I told him, I have these 2 days off. If I don't hear from you by tonight, I'm gonna have to assume that I can go visit my family. I left it at that. And again, close my emails. Don't even try to chase after them. And what was really frustrating was the game that I had to play after he responded. So he sends me an email saying, "Oh yeah, of course why don't we meet so and so date? Would you like to meet at my house?" And here's the thing: I don't want to meet at this guy's house. Not because of my own safety, but here's the reason. From my own experience, if I meet at the student's home to negotiate the deal, the student doesn't incur any sunk costs. It's very easy for him to back away. The price is too high. This is not going to work. Your experience doesn't meet my expectations. Whatever, right? If I can get the student to go to a Starbucks, even if it's walking distance from their home, they've incurred a little bit of sunk costs. And it's much more easier to get a deal to stick that way. Unfortunately, people have are very attached to sunk costs. I try to avoid that, but I know this is a major weakness, so I don't want to go to his home. But here's the kicker. I want to get his address, because if he's really disorganized and gives me another Starbucks that's closed, I want to be able to find him and see if we can work out a deal. The home is the backup plan. I would much more prefer to go to the Starbucks. So I allow him to give his address, and then I said, well, this other Starbucks is only like half a mile away. Would you like to meet there? And so now I have both his home and his agreement to meet at the Starbucks. And it just goes to show the game one has to play when one. So I ended up meeting him at the Starbucks, and I got the deal I wanted because he incurred some sunk costs. So it's very easy to to haggle with him that way. But it just goes to show how it's not a manipulation anymore. It's more like it's not a negotiation anymore. It's a manipulation, and in some ways it feels like strangulation. You know, I call it the Craigslist negotiation, manipulation, strangulation. That's what I call the game. And it's just really frustrating because it feels like a waste of everybody's time and energy. And I would much rather be using the mental energy I'm using for this game to actually tutor somebody. But it's a shame. It's a shame because if I did that, I wouldn't be making good money, and then I wouldn't be able to continue doing it. I have to take on another job, and I wouldn't be able to. So it's a shame. I mean, at the same time, I would much rather use that energy to tutor, but at the same time, it's enabling me to tutor. So it's a love-hate relationship.